Is it really possible to feel 30 years younger in just 3 minutes a day? If you're watching this, chances are you've had days where your body just doesn't move the way it used to. Your knees ache, your balance feels shaky, and simple tasks like climbing stairs or carrying groceries feel heavier than they did a few years ago. You're not alone. But what if I told you that even at 84, you could feel like you're 50 again, just by changing a few habits that take almost no time at all? In this video, I'm going to share 5 simple but powerful daily practices that can literally turn back the clock on how your body feels. These aren't gimmicks, and they're not complicated routines either. Each one takes about 3 minutes or less, and they've helped countless people like you regain strength, energy, and confidence in their bodies. Now, before we dive in, let me be clear, this isn't a magical fix. But if you stick with these 5 steps, you'll likely start to notice changes you didn't think were possible at your age. Maybe it's waking up with less stiffness. Maybe it's walking longer without getting winded. Or maybe it's just having that sense of control over your own body again. Something many people feel slipping away with age. The truth is, feeling young isn't about chasing youth. It's about preserving function, energy, and joy in the years you still have ahead. And the best part? You don't need a gym membership, fancy supplements, or a personal trainer. You just need commitment, consistency, and 3 minutes a day. So stay with me until the end, because each step builds on the last. And by the time we get to the 5th one, you might just realize that growing older doesn't have to mean growing weaker. In fact, you might even feel better than you did 20 years ago. Let's get started. Number 1, morning joint activation. One of the biggest reasons older adults feel stiff in the morning isn't because their muscles are weak, but because their joints haven't been woken up. After hours of lying still through the night, the fluid around your joints thickens slightly, almost like syrup on a cold morning. When you hop out of bed without gently warming up your body, it's no surprise your knees creak or your back tightens. The solution? A 3-minute morning movement ritual focused on your major joints, especially your hips, knees, ankles, and shoulders. No need for yoga mats or equipment. Just sit at the edge of your bed and slowly rotate your ankles 10 times in each direction, then your knees, then gently twist your torso side to side. Finish with shoulder rolls and neck turns. What you're doing here is gently circulating synovial fluid, which helps your joints glide smoothly and reduces that rusty, grinding feeling so many of us wake up with. It might seem too simple to matter, but this gentle prep is the difference between shuffling out of bed or stepping into your day with confidence. There's another benefit people don't always think about. These movements send a signal to your brain that it's time to switch on. For folks in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, this is important. Your coordination, balance, and mood are all tied to how your nervous system fires up after rest. By priming your joints and engaging your core, even a little, you're also boosting mental clarity and reducing the fog that can linger in the early hours. I knew a man named Edward, 81 years old, who started each day just like this. Before this habit, he needed a hand just to get out of bed. After 2 weeks, he wasn't just getting up on his own, he was making breakfast for his wife again. That's the power of these 3 mindful minutes. The goal isn't to touch your toes. The goal is to feel steady on your feet and reduce the risk of falls or joint strain. Every fall prevented is a year of independence preserved. So if you've been skipping movement in the morning because it sounds tiring, or you think you're too old, remember this: your body is a tool. It doesn't break from use, it breaks from neglect. A few minutes of motion is like oil for the engine. It keeps everything running smoothly. Number 2, deep breathing reset. What many people don't realize is that energy doesn't just come from food or sleep. It comes from oxygen. And how you breathe in those first few minutes after waking up can either recharge your battery or drain it before the day even begins. Shallow breathing, which most of us unconsciously fall into, sends a signal to the body that it's under stress even when we're not. That's why starting your day with a simple, deep breathing exercise can completely shift how you feel. Just 3 minutes of slow, intentional breathing, preferably with your eyes closed, feet flat on the floor, and hands resting on your belly, can lower cortisol, regulate heart rate, and calm the nervous system. It centers you before the chaos of the day begins. I knew a woman named Linda, 77, who used to wake up every morning with her heart racing. Her doctor ran all sorts of tests, but the results came back normal. Turns out it wasn't her heart, it was anxiety. When she began doing this 3-minute breathing reset every morning, she told me her mornings felt entirely different. Instead of feeling like she was chasing the day, she felt like she was leading it. That's a powerful shift. The key here isn't to force anything. Don't try to hold your breath or breathe in a certain pattern, like some rigid technique. Just breathe in through your nose, slowly, and out through your mouth, even slower. Let each exhale be like a gentle release. What this does is activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of you that says you're safe, calm, and in control. For older adults, this practice is especially important. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to stress hormones. A simple phone call, a memory, or even silence can cause a surge of adrenaline. But with a breathing practice, you create space between stimulus and response. You teach your body that it doesn't have to react to everything immediately. That control, that calm, that's where real power lives. So don't dismiss this because it sounds too easy. In fact, sometimes the simplest habits are the ones we overlook. But just because something is simple doesn't mean it's not profound. If you commit to just 3 minutes of deep breathing each morning, I promise you'll notice something. Maybe not on day 1, but by day 5, your mornings might start to feel less like a race and more like a rhythm. And that rhythm over time becomes your strength. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, leg activation routine. There's something almost magical about waking up your legs the right way. Most people go from bed to kitchen, straight into the day, with barely a moment to stretch or move. But here's the thing, your legs are like the roots of a tree. If they're stiff, tight, or weak, everything else above feels off balance. I've seen it time and time again. People struggle with balance, posture, or low energy, and it all traces back to how they treat their legs in those first few minutes of the day. A 64-year-old man named Walter shared his story with me. He used to feel like his legs were heavy weights when he got out of bed. He blamed it on age, arthritis, even old shoes. But then he started a 3-minute activation routine every morning. It wasn't fancy, just a mix of seated marches, gentle toe raises, and some slow standing calf lifts while holding onto a chair. Within a few weeks, his balance improved, and he said he felt like his legs actually wanted to move again. That kind of shift doesn't come from supplements or gadgets. It comes from habit. This routine doesn't need to be intense or painful. In fact, if it is, you're doing it wrong. What you want is control and connection. Feel your feet making contact with the ground. Sense your calf muscles flexing. Let your thighs engage just enough to remind them, hey, I still need you today. That communication between your brain and your legs is crucial. It's like flipping a switch. And the earlier you flip that switch, the better the rest of the day will feel. Why does this work so well? Because blood flow equals energy. The minute your leg muscles engage, they draw fresh blood through your lower body, which supports not only strength, but joint health, nerve communication, and even circulation to the feet. For seniors who worry about swelling, numbness, or even foot pain, this simple morning habit can make a world of difference. It sets the tone. It tells your body what we're up, we're grounded, and we're ready. People often ask me what exercise is best for aging legs. And my answer is always the same, the one you'll actually do. You don't need gym equipment or loud music, or a personal trainer shouting at you. You just need consistency in 3 minutes. A few mindful movements every morning can strengthen muscles, improve balance, and most importantly, prevent the kind of slow decline that sneaks up when we're not paying attention. Because strong legs aren't about vanity. They're about freedom, the freedom to walk where you want, to carry your own groceries, to get up from a chair without struggling, to live with dignity. So if you haven't given your legs a wake-up call lately, maybe tomorrow morning is the right time. You don't need a perfect plan. Just start. 3 minutes every day. You'll be surprised how much power is waiting in those steps. Number 4, anti-inflammatory breakfast choice. One of the biggest hidden enemies of aging legs is inflammation. It doesn't shout. It doesn't always show up as pain right away. But it works silently, stiffening joints, weakening muscles, and draining energy from your steps. And here's what's surprising. So much of that inflammation starts not in your knees or hips, but right on your plate, especially in the first meal of the day. Breakfast sets your rhythm. If your morning meal includes processed sugars, refined carbs, or inflammatory oils, you're sending a message to your body: get ready for a sluggish, achy day. But the good news is, switching even one part of your breakfast can have a major impact. That's where anti-inflammatory foods like wild blueberries come in. These little berries might look simple, but they pack a serious punch. They're full of compounds that reduce oxidative stress and soothe inflammation throughout the body, especially in the lower joints. I remember a woman named Elaine. She was 77 and still walked every morning, but she told me her knees would swell up by evening. She thought it was just her age catching up. But when we looked at her meals, I noticed she was starting her day with sweetened yogurt and white toast. She swapped that out for a bowl of oats topped with wild blueberries, a few walnuts, and cinnamon. Within weeks, she said she could walk twice as far without feeling that deep ache in her legs. It wasn't magic. It was science and a shift in how she treated her body. The beautiful thing is, this kind of food isn't hard to find. You can buy frozen wild blueberries at most grocery stores. They don't need to be fancy or organic. You just need consistency. When you feed your body what it needs to fight inflammation, it responds with strength. Not just in how you feel, but in how you move, how you stand, even how quickly you recover after a long day on your feet. And it's not just blueberries. Other powerful options include turmeric, chia seeds, and dark leafy greens, all things you can add to breakfast in under a minute. Some folks make a smoothie, others prefer a warm bowl. The method doesn't matter nearly as much as the habit, because over time, these small morning choices build a foundation for strong, flexible, dependable legs. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, omega-rich cold water fish. There's something remarkable about the way nature equips us with what we need, if we know where to look. And when it comes to keeping your legs strong, stable, and ready to move, the ocean holds one of the best-kept secrets. Cold water fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines aren't just food. They're medicine for your muscles, joints, and circulation, especially as we age. One of the biggest reasons many older adults start to feel heaviness or weakness in their legs isn't just due to muscle loss. It's inflammation in the blood vessels. When your circulation slows down, your legs are the first to notice. That's because they're the furthest from your heart. But omega-3 fatty acids found in these cold water fish help relax the blood vessels and reduce inflammation, allowing more oxygen-rich blood to reach your lower limbs. I once knew a man named Walter, 82 years old. He told me he felt like his legs were made of sandbags every time he climbed stairs. He wasn't overweight. He didn't have arthritis. But his doctor told him his circulation was sluggish. When Walter started including salmon twice a week, lightly grilled and paired with vegetables, he didn't expect much. But 2 months later, he called me and said something that stuck with me. He said, "My legs don't argue with me anymore. They cooperate." It wasn't just the fish. It was the steady supply of omega-3s calming down the inflammation in his blood vessels and helping his muscles recover. And for those who don't eat fish, there are still ways to get those benefits. Omega-3 supplements, especially those made from algae oil, are a good alternative. What matters most is consistency and quality. Even sardines, those small, inexpensive fish packed in tins, can work wonders if you include them regularly. And don't forget, what you leave out matters too. Walter also cut back on red meat and processed deli slices, foods that thicken the blood and constrict circulation. It's not just about adding the good, it's about reducing the bad. Final thoughts. So what stood out to you the most today? Was it the power of beets to supercharge circulation, or the surprising impact of just a few spoonfuls of chia seeds on joint strength and energy? Maybe it was learning how turmeric fights silent inflammation. Whatever it was, know that small, consistent steps can lead to big changes, even in our 70s and 80s. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated routines. Just a few minutes a day with the right foods can help your legs feel stronger, more stable, and more alive. It's never about chasing youth. It's about honoring your body and giving it what it quietly needs to keep going. Because the truth is, age doesn't define strength, habits do. And when you feel more confident in your steps, everything shifts. You're more likely to walk outside, to stand taller, to feel steady when you rise from a chair. That sense of independence, of not having to worry about balance or soreness every time you move, is priceless. It's not just physical strength, it's emotional freedom. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one of the foods we talked about today. Add it to your day, however small. And watch what happens over the next few weeks. Don't just take my word for it, feel it for yourself. And when you do, come back and let us know. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.